Well, we got a few more that might be trickling in, I'm not sure, but I thank you all for coming again. This is the fifth time we've done this. If this is your first time, come back. Have some great people that have been here, and it's a good friend of mine, pardon the Kansas City jersey there.
Go Royals!
Any Royals fans?
Yeah, I'm all alone. I'm all alone. I know.
But Jerry Vandiver, I've known for quite a few years now. I don't know how long, but
Yeah, really. 15
we're
maybe?
both kind of old, but not.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah. And so I'll let him take the floor and introduce his fiddle player there, and
Okay.
whatever you all want to talk about.
Thanks for coming. First of all, this is my fiddle player, Rosen, and she's part of the story, so please give her a warm round of applause. She got up really early for her this morning. She's usually still asleep at this point.
Oh, I'm not that bad. Well, sometimes. Depends on how late the gig goes the night before.
Yeah. So how many have been to these before with Mr. Warfel, where some other songwriters have come and spoken? So, okay, cool. Well, you know, Jeff or Mr. Warfel gave me a pretty free rein about what to talk about, and that's why I really wanted to bring Amberly, not only to play a couple of songs for you, but to kind of spell out our journey here. And it's kind of interesting as you hear some of the other songwriters and musicians come to this class and speak. You'll hear some unique stories. You'll hear where they came from. In my case, I came from Kansas City. People come from all walks of life to come to Nashville and chase the dream. And while every story is unique, I hope that when you listen to them, you're going to find some common denominators, no matter what your dream may be. When I signed the poster that Mr. Warfel asked me to sign, I signed it "Never Stop Dreaming," because I think that's the most important part of what we do. So I can tell you all about how I got here and worked hard and ate Rice Krispies for dinner for 4 years before I got my first song recorded and all those kinds of things, and the sacrifices we all make. But I think the one thing I want to address right away is that everybody that I know that has come to Nashville, including Amberly and myself, we have this drive to see if we can compete in the most competitive, the most rejection-laden business in the world, and it's really not so much that I came to town, and I think other people came to town to chase the dream, and to say I have to make it. It was like I wanted to find out if I could. I wanted to find out. This is the big leagues in Nashville. There's only 3 music centers in the world, really, and that's L.A., New York, and Nashville. And as far as the songwriting thing, this is the capital of the songwriting world. And if you want to be a songwriter in this city, you're going to be competing among the best. And so my drive was I had to find out if I could make it. And the interesting thing is that if I didn't, I would have at least discovered that factor. Because I used to be a teacher. I was a 7th grade science teacher in Kansas City. That's how I lost all my hair, for that matter. But it's true. But and I remember, wondering about coming here, and I had a lot of support. I played gigs in Kansas City all over the place, and I remember wanting to come here, and I had this tremendous fear of coming because of that. But at the same time, I know that if I had stayed in Kansas City and been a teacher, which I loved doing, by the way, I would have that what if question would have always eaten away at me. And I think that comes under, it's not just the music business. I don't care if you want to be a songwriter or a fiddle player, or if you want to be the first woman on Mars. If that's your dream, you have to determine, do I want to answer that question if I can make it or not? And chase that against all odds, because there's only going to be one first woman on Mars. And if that's your dream, then that is, are you laughing because you want to be the first woman on Mars? I was thinking maybe you're looking at Mr. Warfel. But if that's your dream, then you have to give it everything you have. And not be afraid of the rejection. I mean, I've been many times, I have, in fact, sometimes I joke, it's every 15 minutes, I'll get a song, that I think is the greatest song ever been written. and people kind of, yeah, what else you got? You know, and but on the other side of that coin, I answered the question, can I compete in this business? And the answer to that question was I found out that I could. And not all the time. There's more often than not. You know, speaking of baseball for a minute, you know, they say a successful hitter in baseball is a 300 hitter, and or if it's 333, it's even better. That means that he misses the ball. What? 7 times out of 10, right? If he comes up to bat, he's only going to hit the ball 3 times, and that's a really successful hitter. And that's pretty much the situation, I think, in any dream that we chase. So I came to town in 1984 when the Royals were in the playoffs and lost to Detroit. And I don't measure my success by the Royals, don't get me wrong. But I came to town, and it took a long time to figure out the craft and figure out how competitive it was, and realize how much work I had to do. And Amberly, you came here from Oregon, and you came here. Well, how long have you been here? 9 months now? 10 months?
So I came originally for 2.5 months last fall, and then I came for real in January.
Okay, so you've been here 10 months now from the time you moved here. Yeah. And did you find that same thing, that you wanted to find out if you could be competitive in the?
Yeah, definitely. Like I came to Nashville actually because I hadn't lived in one place for more than 5 months since 2008. Playing fiddle everywhere, and I was like approaching 30, and I was like, gosh, I'm kind of ready to have like a home where I can like have more than like a suitcase that I travel with, you know, and have just somewhere that I can cook and that I know I can cook, you know, because I never knew like what I was gonna have at each job that I took. And so I came here because I was like, I'm ready to live somewhere, but also still be able to play fiddle for a living. And I'd always heard about Nashville, and it was kind of between Austin and Nashville, and I was like, I was really terrified, but I just came to Nashville because I was like, okay, I have some friends, maybe they can like sort of help me find my niche, or like find people that I can play with. And you know, it was kind of really, I had like some crazy success very, very early on. It was like
the time of your first gig?
Yeah, like it was totally insane. One of my friends actually connected me with this guy who connected me with Maddie and Tay. Do any of you guys listen to country radio? And so they had this song, Girl in a Country Song, out, and I'd actually, like, I don't know, I was kind of like, oh my gosh, country, you know, I gotta like listen to it 24/7, and you know, like, I'm in Nashville now, you know, and so I met up with this guy, and he was like, yeah, so there's these girls, Maddie and Tay, they've got this girl in a country song thing out, and you should learn that fiddle solo and send it to me in the next couple of days. So I went home, and I listened to the song, and I was like, okay, you know, and I just like learned it right then and there, and like, you know, then perfected it, and recorded myself by video to a metronome, because that's what he said he wanted, and I sent it that night at midnight and said, what do you, like, let me know what you think. And he wrote me back the next morning, he said, great, want to do Letterman on September 11th?
So her first gig was on David Letterman?
My first Nashville gig was on David Letterman with Maddie and Tay. Like, it was crazy success. Like, I was like, this is meant to be, you know? And I'd already accepted a gig in California for a couple months, so I left. And when I got back, those were kind of like the grunge months. I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? Like, like, am I ever gonna make money in this business? And oh my gosh, you know, like doubts. I kept like doubting myself, and then I was like, no, you can't doubt yourself. You have to be positive and think positive thoughts, and like, yes, I'm gonna get all the gigs, and you know, and so I was just, but it's like this mesh of like, you hear people that are better than you, and you're like, I can't do this. And then there's also like, there's this like little voice inside of you that's like, but you came here to do this, you know, so I still have those things, like I'm sure all of you might have at some point in your lives, or maybe now, or but it's always like trying to get back to the positive and trying to get back to like really balancing yourself and like making sure that you stay focused. There's always going to be doubt, but if you believe in yourself enough, then you can do whatever you want. And so, yeah,
Or you can find out, or you can find out that you can't.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
true
the
too.
thing.
That's true
You
too.
know. Now, what's really neat is that there's a new artist on Curb Records named Ruthie Collins. She hasn't quite broke yet, but she is on a major label, and if you have a major label deal, you have a shot. And so now she's playing in Ruthie's band. In fact, you're going to be playing on November 13th, if I recall, and I think it's in Hendersonville with Ruthie. So you know, she'll be playing that. So you know, in only 10 months, Amberly, and when you hear her play, you'll understand why. She's really started to make the drive, so I'm very fortunate to have her. And so we have fun talking about our dream chasing, and that's what it's about. So, you know, that's what I kind of thought about. I wanted to focus on. If you have a dream, and I hope that all of you do, whatever level it is. You may want to be the manager of McDonald's. Great. You know, be the best manager of McDonald's you can be. So anyway, so along those lines, I thought, so I got fortunate after about 4 years. I did have my first cut, and it went to number 5 on the country charts way back in 1989, 1990. And then I had a few lean years again. And then this new kid on Curb Records showed up, and he recorded a song of mine. And I didn't think he was going to go very far, but the album sold 6 million records. And that kid that I said wasn't going to go very far, his name is Tim McGraw. And then he recorded another song of mine, and this time it was a big hit. And I actually brought this for a little show and tell for the fun of it. This was on his Everywhere album. This is, I brought this, you guys can pass it around as long as you promise not to drop it and break it, please. Okay, because this is really, Tim gave this to me. And this is when the album, I think it was triple platinum. It has gone on to, triple platinum, which is 3 million copies. It has gone on to sell 4 million since then. This was a very, very special moment in my life to get this award from Tim in particular. So we're going to play this song for you. Would you like to hear it? Okay. Come on, guys, wake up, wake up. It can't be that boring. Here, pass it around. You guys can say you had a platinum record, multi-platinum record. So the song was called She Was Mine for a Little While, or actually For a Little While is the actual title on the record. And this is it. This is the guitar vocal. Whoops.
It's okay. It's not right.
Okay, you want to let's do this. You need.
No,
Just
it's
put it
okay.
on this.
Sure, there
You
you
sure?
go.
Okay. Better eyesight. Hot sun, dancing on the river. Sit on the bank, watch the world go by. Feet in the water, she pressed her lips to mine. We were so long on love, short on time. She could be